What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, I got a request to break down from YouTube Adventure. Salute, double salute you. He asked me to break down the differences, like how it's, because I said I feel like Dillian Whyte is a better boxer than Deontay Wilder. And so he asked me to break down how he's better. Now, let me say this, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a comparison in different categories, and I'm going to tell you what I see. Okay. Footwork. Neither one of them has excellent footwork. Neither one of them have really impressive footwork, to be honest with you. But between the two, if they're coming forward, Deontay has a limited arsenal of punches that he throws at you. Everything Deontay throws is jab, right hand. He'll throw a jab to the body. He'll throw a jab upstairs. He only follows it with the right hand. You don't see jab, left hook, right hook. Double jab, left hook, uppercut to the body, slip. He doesn't do that. And even when he feints, it's like nothing comes behind it. He barely feints, but when he does, nothing comes behind it. Okay? He basically just throws the same punches over and over. And he uses his reach, his length, to keep away from you, to keep that distance. Dillian Whyte, if he's coming forward, Dillian Whyte throws vicious body shots. Neither one of them really throws combinations. Not real common, really, they're not fluid. It'll be like one punch at a time, pop, 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 pop. Not pop, 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 pop. They don't have that rapid fire style of throwing combinations. Now, of course, if either fighter get you hurt, they're gonna try to load up on shots. Wilder is he's very sloppy. We've seen one of the most famous knockouts knockouts where I guess they thought that was impressive because they always show where he's like got the guy in the corner, he throws like 6-7 punches and miss all of them. They just but that's that windmill shit that they call it. Dillian Whyte, on the other hand, he's more selective with his punches, and Dillian Whyte will mix his shit up. They both have a habit of throwing one punch at a time. Often, just like one shot. But Dillian Whyte works off his jab a lot better. He uses his jab to score points. If he uses his jab and tries he'll get on the back foot just to get distance, to slow your momentum down. Deontay Wilder is more like he'll throw his jab for distance. Okay? And he'll throw one shot at a time. If Deontay Wilder is fighting on the back foot, he can't fight at all. Deontay Wilder, we see him go backwards against Fury when he got rocked against the heart medicine man. What's his name? Ortiz. When Ortiz had him going back, now he was hurt, of course, but anytime you see him going backwards, he's not throwing any punches at all. He's just going backwards. In fact, when he fought Bermane Stiverne the first time, we've seen it again, even like against Fury. He goes straight back from one corner of the ring to the next corner. If you watch, he literally just walks backwards. He doesn't get on his toes. Dillian Whyte can get on his toes, move, breaking momentum. Like I said, he's not known to fight on the back foot. It's more like a stalemate with Dillian Whyte. But Deontay literally just goes straight backwards, and because he's so tall and he's so lanky, he puts his arms out straight out and lean back to avoid punches. He doesn't have footwork at all. So if you put pressure on him, he has nothing. Now, Dillian Whyte, if he has to, get on the back foot and move a little bit, he picks his shots, his spots where he'll throw punches, and he'll move, but he never is like really. I haven't seen him in a fight yet where he's the one constantly going backwards. But he can defend himself, throw shots that he can catch you coming in on the back foot. Whereas Deontay is not known. He's not known for fight. He can't fight on the back foot at all. Now, Dillian Whyte has this thing where I don't know, man, something with this guy's legs, man. He reminds me of like a newborn deer at times. Like he has this thing he does where his legs like wobble. I don't know what the hell that is, but I've seen him do it often. I'm pretty sure anybody that's seen Dillian Whyte fight enough knows what I'm talking about. He has this thing where his legs just don't look steady at times. He just kind of wobbles around the ring. The edge in their ring IQ, I got to give to Dillian Whyte. Hand speed, I'm going to go with Deontay. Even though neither one of these guys throw punches the way, neither one of these guys throw rapid fire combinations. Neither one of them. But Dillian Whyte throws more meaningful combinations. Whyte will mix it up. He'll throw vicious body shots. He'll go upstairs, but it's not fluid. Deontay just basically throws the same thing repetitively all night long. Even when he throws a body shot, if you ever see, even like in the first fight against Fury, was funny. I remember him throwing a body shot, and it was funny because I said, "Where's the body shots?" And as soon as I said it, he threw one, and it's like, go upstairs, one. The only time Deontay Wilder will jump on you, if you're not, even if he doesn't have you hurt, is if he throws a punch and you just kind of stand with your hands up. And then he'll, try to throw, but nothing is pop, 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 pop. Everything is like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. He doesn't throw fluid shots. So in that department, they're similar. But Dillian Whyte has a better ring IQ. Dillian Whyte has had scraps where he had to mix it up at times, and the fact that Deontay Wilder was clearly getting outboxed by guys like Gerald Washington, Duhampas, some other names that just like guys that should not be able to outbox the WBC world champion, guys that were never ever world champion, that will never be world champion, and was able to outbox him easily. I mean, Gerald Washington should not be able to outbox anybody that's considered an elite fighter. It's not hard to outbox Deontay Wilder. And the thing is, Deontay is so predictable. But if he's quick enough to get the shot to you where you can't defend it, then that's where he gets you. You understand? It's like watching a snake, right? You can watch that snake. You have certain animals, like a mongoose, like a monkey, right? Certain dogs, they're fast enough. A Tasmanian devil, they're fast enough to get to where when that snake is jumping to the eye, you like, oh shit, you think the snake is biting them, but then when they show it in slow, you realize that is jumping all over the place and the snake is missing, and he's catching the snake. But certain animals, even though they may be fast in certain ways, they're not quick enough to get away, and that snake, that's all it takes. So with Deontay, it's like he's repetitive, but also the way he fights with using his reach to try to keep you from coming in. With Deontay, it's more like he showed patience, that he will wait and wait and wait until he gets you. The danger in that is when you fight elite guys that, like we've seen against Fury, he hasn't fought AJ yet, and he hasn't fought Dillian Whyte yet. But there's going to be people that, if you are waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, next thing you know, 12 rounds is gone, and it's like, damn, what happened? So if and when he finally has that happen, it's like, okay, he'll be encouraged. You got to step it up. You can't let rounds go by like that. And that's how he's been winning fights. Dillian Whyte has showed better. I think Dillian Whyte, defensively, Dillian Whyte can get careless at times as well. Deontay Wilder is more responsible. He's more, put it like this, he's more alert. He's just skill-wise. Deontay doesn't know how to slip and roll, and he doesn't know how to do any of that shit. Dillian Whyte can slip and roll punches. Dillian Whyte has, I will say Dillian Whyte is better technically on offense and defense. The problem with Dillian Whyte is he does have a tendency, like Dillian Whyte does this thing, even when he got knocked out by Povetkin, you see, he does this thing where he squares up and he puts his hands up and he ducks and he stands straight up, and if you're putting pressure on him, instead of stepping out the way or rolling out the way, he'll throw something at you. And he doesn't even, it's like he'll just throw something. You know, we've seen him get dropped by Oscar Rivas. We've seen him get dropped by Joseph Parker. We've seen him get knocked out by Anthony Joshua. We've seen him get knocked out by Povetkin. You want to know what they all have in common? The fucking uppercut. He is susceptible. He is there to be hit with the uppercut or the hooks, man. He's there to be hit. I remember when he fought Derek Chisora, and he won the first fight. It was a war, but he won it. The second fight, Derek Chisora, whatever David Haye was doing with Derek Chisora, it was working. He was clearly outboxing Dillian Whyte. And the point of him getting caught, it's boxing. He did what he had to do. He got the knockout. That fight reminded me of the Povetkin Dillian Whyte fight, because Dillian Whyte was winning that fight. He's outboxing Povetkin, and he made that one mistake. And Povetkin capitalized on it. Looking at both of them, there's not like the technical differences that I see between them. Most definitely defensively, I think Whyte has the better defensive skills, but he does have a tendency to get careless. Let me say that. With Deontay, it's not so much he gets careless, it's just he's very limited. But what they both have to bring to the ring, this is the way I see it. Okay? They both have the power to knock each other out. I don't think Dillian Whyte will beat Deontay Wilder fighting on the back foot. I think he has to come forward and put pressure and take Deontay's strength away from him, which is his reach. Okay? Which is his reach and the fact that he can't fight going backwards. With Deontay Wilder, with Dillian Whyte going forward, I don't just mean reckless, careless, just running in, throwing wild, desperate shots. No, I mean he has to make him come in. He has to put that pressure, that smoke on him from like early. Make him, he has to make Deontay Wilder uncomfortable. Now, Deontay Wilder, I don't see him beating Dillian Whyte going backwards. Of course, unless he's not going to outbox Dillian Whyte. The other thing Dillian Whyte does wrong, he comes in a straight line. See, when Deontay comes in, Deontay has his hands up. He cuts that high guard, and he throws his jab. So when Deontay comes in, he throws that jab, and he'll follow with that right hand, or he'll just, either way. The thing is, it's repetitive. But with Dillian Whyte, he comes in, he has a mistake of coming straight in without moving. He'll roll his shot if he throw it. He knows how to roll and move, but I mean, coming in to get his shots off, he comes in a straight line, no head movement, which can be dangerous, because if he does that and Deontay catches him flush, I don't think Dillian has, I'm not saying he has a weak chin, but Dillian Whyte, when he gets hit with that, he gets hit with flush shots. Now, what he doesn't have to worry about from Deontay is uppercuts, body work. He just has to worry about that straight right hand. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, the body shots that Dillian would have, Dillian would have to fight. To be honest with you, I can't say who has a better chin. Looking at the fact that, because they both been dropped in their career. They both have been dropped. I know the videos of Deontay, they scratched and took down, but they both have been dropped. They both hit hard enough to knock the other guy out. But I think that with Deontay, if he fights smart, if he just keeps Dillian on the outside. The thing is, Dillian already knows what to look for. He already knows what to look for. The thing with Deontay, looking for whatever Dillian's going to do, it's not. Dillian doesn't fight with a certain pattern. You understand what I mean? The other thing that can work against Dillian is times when there's too much inactivity, where he's, trying to figure his opponent out, but he does work off of his jab. But that carelessness can cost him, because Deontay's quick enough to throw that right hand, that jab right hand, and get it in there, and he does hit it hard enough to knock Dillian Whyte out. Now, with one punch. But let's say this. What they bring to the table the night of the fight is what matters. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter what you did against that guy, what that guy did against that guy. It doesn't really matter. What you bring to the table the night of the fight is what matters. So, looking at what they both have, different strengths and advantages, what they have different and similar, I say, yeah, Dillian Whyte definitely, he shows more poise. He shows more ability to slip and counter. He throws vicious body shots, whereas with Wilder, it's you don't have to worry about any of that. It's just that right hand, not the uppercut, not the hook, not even you don't even really have to worry about his jab, because he throws nothing behind it but the right hand. He doesn't trick you. He doesn't, he basically does things that's repetitive, like I said. So, the danger, like I said, with Dillian is Deontay does have patience, because he believes that once I catch you, it's over. And we've seen him several times where he's, like I say, he's been being outboxed, and then, there he goes. Right hand, it's over. But those guys are not Dillian Whyte. But just like he knocked those guys out, he has the power. Just like I said, Dillian has the power to knock him out. Now, based on what they both have done in the ring, I would go with Dillian on paper. But like I said, it's what they bring to the table the night of the fight. And when you look at consistency, the difference between the two of them is Dillian has fought the better opposition. Whenever Deontay stepped up, like the only real test that I see him having was Tyson Fury. Luis Ortiz is a decent fighter. I don't see Luis Ortiz nearly the way people try to make him sound. But even in that, he was getting outboxed in both of those fights. Even though in the first fight, somehow the judges had him up, had Deontay up. But Dillian has definitely fought the better opposition. But, so with that being said, yeah, Dillian had tough fights and got dropped by quality opponents. But Deontay, still, he has the power in that right hand, and Dillian would have to be focused. I can't sit here and tell you, oh, he'll definitely be focused for 12 straight rounds. I don't know that. But I will say, technically, yeah, he's better than Deontay. He's more well-rounded. Now, what I would suggest for people to do, go look at their best performances. Look at what they did, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. Look at what they did against the better opponents that they fought, and look at what they did good, what they did wrong. And of course, the fact that Deontay, he hasn't been knocked out yet. If he'll ever be knocked out, he hasn't been knocked out yet. So people are like, yeah, but Dillian got knocked out by AJ. Okay. AJ's the unified champion of the world now. Povetkin is no joke. He's a veteran. He's very skilled. What I'm saying, and this is not about who I like or don't like. I can care less about that. Okay, I'm not crazy about either one of them. It's not about a bias or no, none of that. I'm looking at what both of these guys do. Like I said, you watch Deontay, he walks in a straight line backwards. He has no footwork. You don't see him get on his toes and move and slip, but he just literally walks backwards. Literally. Dillian Whyte can get on his toes for a little bit, move, like I said, slow your momentum down, break your momentum, get himself some distance, but he doesn't do it effectively as far as fighting on the back foot. Neither one of them are good on the back foot, but Dillian is better than him on the back foot. Dillian is better than him technically coming forward. But at the same time, Dillian does get careless. Deontay has patience. Deontay does fight like a tall man is supposed to. He stands straight up. He keeps his hands out. He gives you his full height. He doesn't crouch down at the knees and all that. And so with that patience and if even just to be able to keep the distance, because it's easier said than done when you fight a guy that can crack. So Dillian, I believe, knows how to beat Deontay, but the point is he has to be. I don't get it twisted. It's not like Deontay can come in and bullshit and no, because Dillian can knock his ass out too. But the thing is with Deontay is he's repetitive and you know what to look for. But Dillian does, I've said it for the third or fourth time, he does get careless on defense. And he does things where he ducks down, like this thing ducks down, and he squares up and stands straight up, and he'll throw a shot if you're putting heat on him. But with Wilder, it's like his shots come from the outside. And those shots can be telegraphed as well, and he can be countered. I just want to see the fight. I hope the fight does happen. Now, we don't know, from what we're hearing, we heard Eddie Hearn say that, yeah, they're pushing for the rematch by December. There's another video I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about Tyson Fury because I got something to say about something I heard him say and got some information on that as well, and I want to break something down about that whole scenario. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's like I said, man, we can sit up here all day and talk about what this guy can do, what that guy can do. But at the end of the day, when you come in fight night, that's what matters. I don't care what you did against your last 2, 3, 4 opponents. It's this night. Different night, different opponent. So, yeah, I do feel like Dillian Whyte is a better boxer overall. Does that mean that he automatically wins? No. No. It's not what that means. And, of course, when you have 2 punches, the person that makes the least mistakes is pretty much going to be the one to win. Overall, in terms of boxing, I don't see him landing that jab on Dillian Whyte all night long. I don't see him land. I mean, they're very similar in terms of how they don't throw a lot of punches. They don't throw a lot of they don't throw combinations really. But Dillian throws, he has a better arsenal, better variety of shots. His punch selection. But again, we will see. And that's all. It's not like I feel like Dillian has huge advantages over Deontay. No. I see the little differences, what he does better than Deontay Wilder. And I see things that, the few things that Deontay has over him. But at the same time, it's how you put it together come fight night. So I don't care nothing about what he did against AJ and what this one did against Fury and what this one did against Ortiz and what this one did against Parker. That doesn't matter. Now, as far as the habits, the bad habits, or just something that's a part of their style that can come back and haunt them, those things, yeah, that can happen. If Dillian Whyte gives lateral movement, and let's say he's coming in, putting that pressure, and he knows how to, be patient, get under them shots, punish that body, make him, make him throw shots that he don't really want to throw. And let's not forget too, man, Dillian's a big dude, man. Deontay's very skinny, man, and very long. So Deontay doesn't fight the way people like. He doesn't use his body to bump you around and muscle you back and walk you down. He doesn't do that. Deontay tries to keep as far away from you. He keeps, with his reach, and he throws his punches. He just tries to catch you. He doesn't walk you down and use these old veteran tricks. Now, he doesn't do all of that. He doesn't do those things. So Dillian Whyte, best bet is to keep it close and not fight on the end of Wilder's punch. If he fights on the end of his punch, unless he just is making Wilder miss all night, I wouldn't bet on that though. I wouldn't count on that. I think for him to try to get in, work his way in with his jab, use his movement, be patient, because coming in carelessly, coming in sloppy, wild, no. Coming in like doing that Samuel Peters style, that's not what I'm saying. So what I mean is even with the technical, like the differences with the height and reach and all of that, technically Dillian has to be more careful coming in to get to Wilder. Now, if they both, like, I'm not going back. We're going forward. Dillian should win that war because Dillian's the shorter fighter, shorter arms. Wilder already throws wild punches. So Wilder's punches should be coming right down the middle. Definitely. Because with his height, and he doesn't give you lateral movement and feints and give you, like I said, shots from awkward angles, and he just throws the same combinations over. When he not even combinations, the same punch selection. It's just the same thing over and over. It's just, if he's quick enough to catch you and he winds up catching you, then it could be over for you. But at the end of the day, you have to have a game plan. You can't just go in there, well, if he hits me, no, somebody's going to get hit. And with Dillian Whyte, he can't get careless. Neither one of them can get careless, can afford to be careless. Dillian Whyte, I've been looking for that damn spider for the past 10 minutes. But Dillian Whyte, yeah, he has things that he does. He's more technically sound than Deontay Wilder. But it's not like the things that he do is like such a great advantage that I think like it's no contest. No. I just feel like because the things that he knows how to do, we've seen it happen where one fighter has all these different boxing fundamentals that he shows, but he fights certain guys and he just can't get to them. So that's what I see different between the two of them. Who has the stronger mind? I don't know. And also, since I'm talking about Dillian, well, I'm going to save that for another video. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on this one. Catch y'all on the next one.